Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. I just wanted to do a very quick video here today about this announcement from BP today. If you don't know, BP used to be British Petroleum. I don't think they call themselves that anymore. They have a nice little sun. It's very green. Anyway, but this is actually very good news from their part. We can read here, we're buzzing to announce an investment of $100 million into Tesla's ultra-fast EV chargers or superchargers in the United States. We'll install and operate them across our BP Pulse network, marking a first for the industry, and roll them out across key BP, Thorntons, TA travel centers, and AM/PM sites. This deal is another way we're in action, helping us to deliver our aim to roll out more than 100,000 charge points globally by 2030. So if you don't know, Thorntons, TA travel centers, and AM/PM are all gas stations, and this is really good news. I have to say, I've been calling this for quite a while now. I've been saying any intelligent gas station chain should be looking into this, because what they should be doing is transitioning from, giving people a fill up with gasoline to also at this point, including electricity. Eventually they can fade out their gasoline stuff when people don't drive it as much. And then, it'll take a decade or so for that to happen. But anyway, any forward thinking gas station chain, whether that's an oil company or whether it's owned by somebody else like Racetrack or something like that, should be thinking along these lines. They should be like, let's install chargers into our places alongside gas filling stations. I mean, it's not like you have to get rid of one or the other. You can keep both for a while. I've seen that at Wawa already. We've seen that at Sheetz already as we travel up the East Coast. This is a really big one though, because first of all, BP is huge. Second of all, it sounds like they're outright purchasing these things from Tesla. It says investment, so it's a little unclear exactly how that's working. So it might not be an outright purchase, but they might be sort of prepaying for the stations to be put in. And then, of course, I'm sure they're getting a cut of the profits that Tesla's putting in as well. And of course, with the new North American charging standard kind of taking over, I think the only real big holdout at this point is Volkswagen, the Volkswagen Group, because even Toyota is going to be using NACS now. So with that taking place in the United States, and combined with the fact that Tesla's chargers are just far and away better than anybody else's chargers, BP might be rebranding them or something. And so it might be something along the lines of this picture where they'll have like a BP Pulse. This actually looks a lot like a Gen 4 Tesla Supercharger, honestly, at that very, very tall kind of large charger station that's there. And so I don't know if this is a mock-up or if this is something they've got from somewhere else, but clearly they've got Tesla's charging there. So it's probably a mock-up at this point, but it would be a very easy BP thing to slap their faceplate on this. I assume that there would be some sort of Tesla branding someplace, or maybe Tesla doesn't even care. They're just like, as long as we're operating it on the back end, we don't really care. But anyway, this is a very, very big move. It's not like individual gas stations are sort of, asking Tesla to put them in. Tesla puts them in, and then whatever profit sharing they have, Tesla is responsible for the cost of it, which I believe is the way it's been at other gas station type environments at this point. This is BP really making an aggressive push, and it looks like even to the point of branding it themselves, that they'll have their own branded superchargers there. That's a really big deal. Of course, from a consumer point of view in the United States, the more chargers there are, the better. So everybody wins. From Tesla's point of view, this is great because this is a huge investment. They get to just take that money and use it to build more superchargers faster and install them. They've got predefined places. BP's obviously going to pick very busy gas stations, intersections of highways, whatever it is. They know the metrics. They know the busiest places. They know the busiest gas stations for each of these three brands and the BP brand as well. So they'll be able to figure out where to put these things to get the maximum amount of return. From the consumer point of view, this is fantastic because this is more choices to do charging and everything, and that's great. And then, of course, from each station's point of view and BP overall, you get people who are going to be there longer, right? It takes 15 or 20, even longer than that if you want to get a really full charge up on your EV, rather than the 5 minutes of standing next to the gas pump and having to literally stand there and like squeeze the handle so you can't do anything else for that period of time while your tank fills up. You have people who have, say, 15 or 20 minutes that they have to kill, and once you plug in the car, you don't have to stand there next to it. So the temptation, generally speaking, is you're going to want to go in, go to the bathroom, go shopping, whatever. So people are going to very much spend more money because they're spending more time there. And the big thing about gas stations, of course, the not very secret is that they really only break even on the gasoline itself. Where they make their money is on all of the stuff they sell in their stores. So it doesn't really matter how they get you into the store. What matters is that you're there, and the fact that you've got, again, because you're buying new cars right now, you've got the relatively more well-off people who are able to purchase new EVs or relatively new used EVs. Those Superchargers are still expensive. So you've got relatively affluent customers who are stuck there. They're captive audiences for a period of time while they're filling up. And that means that there's a likelihood that they are going to spend more money there than they would if they just had to stand out there and squeeze the gas pump handle until the thing filled up. And so this is really a win-win-win scenario for everybody. And I think that it's a fantastic move. Like I said, I've been calling this for a while. I've been like, gas stations should have this. In fact, I have a very old video that I'll leave up here. I'll put a link to it up here. But I have a video from a couple of years ago, I don't remember exactly when, where I suggested this is exactly what gas stations should be doing. So overall, really, really fantastic news. I think it's great. I'm very pleased to see BP doing this. I'm pleased to see this movement and this understanding that this is where customers are going and where EVs are going. The United States still is, kind of a laggard in terms of the percentage of EVs being sold, but globally we're well over the 10% tipping point of new electric vehicles being sold relative to the entire fleet. So it's something that's going to happen, as Tony Seba and others have called it. You get that S disruption curve, and we're entering into the steep part of the curve right now. So things are going to take off, and the more people that get on board with this, the less range anxiety, which is probably one of the major things that keeps people from purchasing EVs, is range anxiety. The less range anxiety people have, the more comfortable they are. And the fact that when you're driving your gas car and you go to an AM/PM or a TA or to a BP station or whatever, you pull in and you see chargers right there, that's going to make you in your head go like, if I want to purchase an EV, that's not such a big deal because my local gas station and plenty of other ones that I go to just have them sitting there. And so I can see it and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't have to worry about range anxiety because I can go right here and fill up if I need to. So overall, this is really, really fantastic news. I would be very interested to know what you all think about this. Maybe you think that there are other people who are doing this more aggressively or other conglomerates that should think about this as well. I think a little bit like the NACS standard, once Ford went, you saw GM go, and then, others started to fall in line relatively quickly. So once BP makes this announcement, I have a feeling that ExxonMobil and other large companies will think heavily about doing this. I'm not saying they will do it immediately, but clearly BP has figured out how to make this happen. So Tesla could sort of boilerplate it and say, this is what we did with BP. Do you guys want in on this as well? And I have a feeling other companies will join relatively quickly as well. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it fun and interesting and thought-provoking. If you did, please do like it so other people can find it. And of course, consider subscribing for more of this kind of content. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons on Patreon, my YouTube channel members, and of course, my ex-subscribers. And if you want to join any of the teams, just check out the links in the description. And if you're interested in a whole bunch of really cool merch, check out our merch store. Link is in the description. We have TeslaBot t-shirts, the Tesla meme t-shirt, success is a possible outcome, 4680 battery cells. All of that stuff is on t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, and on and on. So check it out. And finally, don't forget we are both Tesla and Amazon affiliates. Speaking of Teslas, if you look in the description, you can see how going shopping for a new Tesla, a solar roof, a power wall, or anything on Amazon helps out the channel. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.